Stars explode in galaxies. Collide. Black holes tear through entire regions of space. Vast storms rage across planets larger than Earth. Radiation pours through the dark in catastrophic waves. And yet if you were out there, drifting between worlds, you would hear almost nothing. No roaring stars, no cosmic wind, no thunder from exploding suns. Just a silence so complete it would feel less like quiet and more like absence itself. That is the first strange truth about space. The cosmos is not peaceful because nothing is happening. It is silent because almost everything is happening too far from matter to ever become sound. And that should disturb us, because on Earth, sound is how reality feels close. It is how danger announces itself, how life proves it is near. A voice, a heartbeat, rain on glass, the ocean at night. Sound tells us we are inside a world that can touch us back. Space does not do that. It shines, it burns, it kills. But it does not speak in the language our bodies were built to trust. That silence is not just poetic, it is pissy. Sound is not like light. Light can cross emptiness. It can travel for billions of years through darkness and still reach your eyes. But sound is different. Sound needs substance. It needs atoms, molecules, a medium to push, compress, and disturb. Without that chain of contact, sound has nowhere to go. In the near vacuum of space, there is almost nothing to carry it. And that is why one of the most violent places in our solar system would seem utterly dead to your ears. The sun is a nuclear furnace. Its surface boils. Its interior convulses. Towers of plasma rise and collapse. Magnetic fields snap with enough force to overwhelm worlds. If sound could move through the vacuum between the sun and Earth, our sky would not feel serene. It would feel unbearable. But there is no bridge of air between us and that fire. No invisible corridor for pressure waves to cross. So the star that makes every heartbeat on Earth possible rises each morning in total silence. And that changes the emotional meaning of the night sky. Because when we look up, we imagine a universe full of noise. We imagine impact, friction, roar. We imagine that if we were close enough to Saturn's storms, Jupiter's lightning, or the collapse of a star, we would finally hear the cosmos reveal itself. But hearing, in the human sense, belongs to places with thickness, places with air, places where matter is crowded enough to pass a vibration along. Earth is one of those places. We live at the bottom of an ocean of gas. Our atmosphere is so ordinary to us that we forget what a miracle it is. Every word you have ever heard traveled by disturbing that ocean. Every song, every warning, every whisper in the dark. Your whole emotional life is tied to a thin envelope of air wrapped around a small, rocky planet. Step outside that envelope, and one of your deepest senses becomes almost useless. Imagine two astronauts floating just meters apart, looking directly at one another. One pounds on metal, the other watches the impact happen. Nothing crosses the gap between them as sound. No bank, no hecho, only sight. If they want to communicate, they must turn vibration into radio and send it another way. In space, even a human voice must abandon sound to survive. And that is where the silence becomes personal. Because our species is built from pressure and pulse. Before birth, we begin in sound. We hear the body of another person before we ever see light. The first proof of life is rhythm. The first proof of danger is rupture. The first proof of love is often a voice. So when we imagine leaving Earth, what we are really imagining is more than distance. We are imagining exile from the environment that taught our nervous system what alive feels like. No wind through trees. No distant thunder. No city hum. No animal cry. Just machines breathing for you in a suit, and your own pulse knocking softly inside your skull. That may be the loneliest soundtrack ever known, but the silence of space is not absolute.
And that is where the story becomes stranger. Because the universe is not mute. It is only selective. There are places where sound can exist beyond Earth, inside atmospheres. Through dust, through hot gas, through plasma. There are vibrations moving through the sun itself. Pressure waves in immense clouds between galaxies. Electromagnetic events that spacecraft can detect and translate into something we can listen to. So when scientists release the sounds of space, they are not simply inventing fantasy. Often they are translating real data from places where human ears could never function directly. That distinction matters, because what we call space sounds are usually not sounds drifting cleanly through the vacuum, like they do in films. They are hidden events, buried inside alien environments, or signals converted from magnetic and plasma activity into forms the human brain can perceive. These are not the comforting sounds of a familiar world. They are translations from a reality our biology was never designed to hear. And that may be even more unsettling than silence, because it means the universe is not waiting to become audible. It already is in forms too vast, too thin, too slow, too extreme for us. There is a kind of arrogance in assuming reality should arrive in a human format. Out there, physics does not care what our ears can process. A black hole can shake gas in a galaxy cluster and generate pressure waves more immense than anything Earth has ever known. Yet the frequency can sit so low that no human would ever hear it naturally. The wave exists. The energy is real. But it lives so far beneath our hearing that it slips under music, under instinct, almost under imagination itself. Think about what that means. A black hole, hundreds of millions of light years away, is not screaming in some cinematic register. It is resonating on a scale so alien that human hearing might as well not exist. The universe is full of events more extreme than our senses. It's not merely hidden from us, but fundamentally mismatched to us. And this is the deeper reason space feels silent. It's not because nothing is there, but because so much of what is there occurs outside the narrow little band of reality our bodies can translate. We often speak about space as though it is empty and Earth is normal. But perhaps the opposite is emotionally closer to the truth. Perhaps Earth is the rare exception. A warm, pressurized island where vibrations can become language, music, warning, memory. A place where the universe briefly becomes audible. Out there, matter thins, distance swells, time stretches, familiarity breaks, silence takes over. And silence in space is not the silence of a library. It is not restful. It is not kind. It is the silence of separation. The silence of no atmosphere. No shared medium, no easy contact. The silence that emerges when the rules that cradle human life stop applying. That silence also tells us something brutal about distance. On Earth, sound is intimate. Even the loudest noise fades quickly. Voice can only travel so far before the air swallows it. Now imagine scaling that limitation into the cosmos. The nearest star is so far away that even light, the fastest thing we know, needs years to cross the gap. Sound never even gets the chance. The universe is not only vast beyond comprehension, it is built so that most of its emptiness cannot carry the simplest cry. No wonder space feels emotionally cold. It is not just dark, it is disconnected. And that has consequences for any dream we have of becoming a spacefaring civilization. We imagine colonies on Mars, stations orbiting distant moons. Human beings stepping farther and farther from Earth, but every meter outward is also a step away from the sensory world that made us. On Mars, even with an atmosphere, sound behaves differently. Thin air changes voices. Familiar noises turn strange. Presence itself feels altered. Human expansion into the cosmos will not simply be engineering. It will be psychological translation. We will have to learn how to feel at home in environments that do not sound like home, and maybe that is why true silence frightens us, because it removes feedback. When a forest goes silent, we sense danger. When a room goes silent after bad news, we feel dread. Silence is not neutral to the human mind. It is suspense.
It is uncertainty. It is the pause in which imagination fills the void with consequences. Space is the largest version of that feeling ever discovered. An endless expanse where your instincts keep waiting for the confirming sound that never comes. No wing beat. No wing beat, no distant engine, no ocean against shore. Only light without voice. And yet, somehow, that same silence is part of what makes the universe beautiful, because it reveals something profound about our place in it. We are not standing in the center of a stage built for us. We are living inside a tiny zone of unusual conditions. On a small world wrapped in air, beside a star whose violence reaches us as warmth and light rather than sound. Everything that feels immediate to us depends on fragile arrangements of matter, pressure and temperature, chemistry, distance. Remove a few of those conditions, and even reality itself becomes difficult to sense. That fragility is not depressing. It is clarifying. It means Earth is not merely where we happen to live. It is a rare acoustic cradle in a mostly inaudible cosmos. Every laugh on this planet, every song drifting from an open window, every child calling from another room, every final word spoken at a bedside, all of it depends on a thin atmosphere that, from the scale of the universe, is almost nothing. And maybe that is the quiet lesson hidden inside cosmic silence. The universe does not owe us familiarity. It does not need to roar for its power to be real. It can remain almost completely silent and still contain supernovas, radiation storms, black holes, methane rain, and clouds so immense they erase any human sense of proportion. The absence of sound is not the absence of drama. It is the signature of a reality so extreme that our oldest senses fail at the edge of it. So the next time you imagine Earth from orbit, or a lone astronaut passing over the curve of the world, remember what that scene truly contains. Below them, billions of voices. Above them, almost none. A razor-thin boundary separates the speaking world from the silent one, and all of civilization lives on the speaking side. That may be the strangest reason space is almost completely silent, not simply because it is empty, but because life, as we can know it, is noisy only inside a very narrow miracle. Beyond that miracle lies the great cosmic hush, a universe radiant furious, ancient, and nearly soundless to the creatures who dared to look up and wonder what it was saying. Perhaps that is why we keep listening anyway. Because in that silence, we do not just confront the universe. We confront ourselves. How small we are. How temporary. How dependent on fragile layers of air and warmth and pressure. And yet how astonishing it is that for one brief moment on one small planet, matter learned how to hear the stars, even when the stars could never truly be heard. If this journey through the quiet of the cosmos stayed with you, you can support the channel with a like. Share it with someone who feels that same strange pull when they look into the night sky. and subscribe for more journeys into the deeper, colder, and more beautiful edges of reality.